Here's our first slammer of tonight. It's Dmitry Kopelyanskiy, everybody. Give it up.
Are you not scared? Oh, fuck. But you better be, because I'm gonna talk to you today about zombies. Ooh. Zombies are real, did you know that? Because some organisms can become mindless zombie monsters if they're infected with some really gruesome parasites. So what are the parasites? So parasites, you cannot consider them parasites unless they have a host. So they use the energy and resources of their hosts to eat and to reproduce. And if you think about the host, the primary host for each parasite, it's like a house. A place where you can eat as much as you want and also reproduce. So if you're a parasite, you really want to come back home. But life of a parasite, in most of the cases, starts outside. And from the moment the baby parasite is born, it's on a journey. A fantastic journey full of challenges, obstacles. It will grow. It will find some other intermediate hosts, which is like a temporary apartment or a friend, or rather a car or a van, where you can sleep but also drive. So they will use this van or car to drive themselves forward in their life. They will even transform, evolve, grow, get out, transform into some other morphological forms, and finally, the mature parasite would finally come back home and, of course, reproduce. And then the cycle will start again. So certain parasites develop the unique ability to facilitate this process and really take the steering wheel of this van and drive their intermediate hosts closer to the primary, closer to home. And the life cycle of every parasite of this group, it's a thriller, it's a drama, it's an amazing story. And I'm happy to share some of the stories with you tonight. Look at the snail, for example. What the hell? Where do you think it's going? Maybe to a disco party? We don't know. But what we do know, that it was unfortunate to eat some eggs of a parasitic worm that grew inside the snail and then invaded its eyes. And there it pulsates back and forth, pretending to be a delicious caterpillar. It also changes the behavior of the snail. The snail, which usually tends to stay in the dark, hidden areas, now really crawls up on a leaf or a piece of the grass because it really wants to be on a spot, wants to get noticed by a hungry, maybe angry bird. The bird would think, delicious caterpillar. It would eat it, and then the worm would get back home to its primary host, the bird. There it will multiply, and then with the bird's droppings, eggs of the worm will get out, and then another unfortunate snail will eat it, and the cycle is completed. Some parasites don't even need to be inside their hosts in order to control their behavior. And to tell you this story, I have to ask you a question. Who of you likes cockroaches? A couple of people over there. But almost nobody. But why? This guy is so lonely, so cute. He doesn't have a friend, And he really needs a friend. Because he's got a very powerful enemy. An emerald cockroach wasp. This guy is a real monster. He hates cockroaches. When he sees a cockroach, it attacks it. Boom! And during the fight, it stings the roach twice. The first time it stings it, it paralyzes the roach. So the roach cannot fight back or run away. And while it is paralyzed, it stings it for the second time, precisely into the brain. And there it injects a very special venom, which doesn't kill the roach, neither it seduces it. Instead, it just makes the roach very obedient slave. It could run away or fight if it wants to. It just doesn't want to. All it does is just stand still and waits for the orders from its master, Master Wasp. And then the wasp then grabs the roach by its antennae and just walks it home like a dog on a leash. And the roach is like, whatever, I'm following. Because the wasp had previously digged a hole and it's guiding the roach directly into this hole. There, it will lay an egg on the surface of the roach and then barricade the entrance, basically burying the roach alive. And then the egg will hatch and the small larvae will suck the nutrients out of the roach and then crawl inside and eat the zombie roach, which is still alive, inside out. I didn't put any video of that, I thought you wouldn't like it. And finally, a fully mature wasp emerges out of the body of the zombie roach. Don't you feel sorry for the guy now? Come on, give him a call, Jesus. But these are all worms, insects, and who cares really? What about bigger animals? There is a story about bigger animals. But before I tell this, I have to say that it's quite personal to me, because it's related to me in a way. So the thing is, I was in a relationship for some time, and there's someone here tonight who's special to me. So I just want to say that I'm madly and deeply in love with my cat Boris! I mean, he's here, look. He's always close to my heart. He's cute, huh? So, our love was perfect. Until Boris met someone else. Someone else was also in love with my cat Boris. And he tried to take him away. It all started when Boris got slightly sick. He had a parasitic infection. I actually think the Boris is a parasite himself because he only eats, sleeps, and plays around. But at the time, it was serious. He got infected with a real monster. Toxoplasma gondii. A single-cell protozoan parasite that wanted to live and multiply inside the guts of my cat Boris. This parasite has very complicated life cycle. But what's important here is that it can only sexually reproduce inside the guts of different feline species. Romantic place, right? So Boris wasn't really happy about it. So he went to the toilet. And from there, parasite escaped. And quickly spread all around the nature. It contaminated grass, water, gone with the wind. It was everywhere. But as it can only sexually reproduce, and it really wants to reproduce it, inside the guts of different cat species, it really wanted to come back to my cat Boris. Yeah. So it waited for the Boris's mortal enemy to appear, Mr. Mouse. Once it got inside the mouse, it needed to convince him to go find Boris. And for that, it developed a very evil plan. It migrated into the brain of Mr. Mouse and forced neurons to produce dopamine, the molecule which is responsible for feelings of joy, excitement, and reward. So Mr. Mouse became very happy and romantic. But still he didn't want to go find Boris because mice have an innate fear of predators. If they smell a cat's urine, they panic and run away. Don't you do the same? No. But parasite accumulated in a special region of the brain which is called amygdala. This region controls fear and anxiety. So it accumulated there and totally messed it up. Instead of being afraid, Mr. Mouse became very attracted to cats. All he wanted is to run into Boris and make sweet love. Just like that. Boris was very surprised. He just opened his mouth and let Mr. Mouse run there. I'm not finished. Laugh became deadly. So this is another example how certain parasites can control behavior of their intermediate hosts. But what if parasite doesn't get inside the mouse? What if it gets inside us? People. Well, in fact, 1/3 of the world's population, well, you included, are positive for toxoplasma. Look, I'm not trying to say that you ate a cat's poo once, okay? Can I have a few more minutes? Boris, ask you, please. Well, that's not at all. Anyway, so I'll be quick. So, again, I'm not trying to say that you ate a cat's poo once, alright? But even if you did, it's fine, because it's a free country. Well, someone did, no? Good. But probably you got it with undercooked meat or unpasteurized milk or while working in your garden, because parasite contaminates soil easily. Our immune system is able to protect us, but who is in real danger? These are the pregnant women. Because if you're pregnant and you get infected with this parasite for the first time in your life, it can be a really serious danger for your baby. So there are no jokes here. If you're pregnant and you have a cat, please go to the doctor, do some tests, and please avoid changing the cat's litter. Just stay away from this as far as you can. Guys, we have to deal with this shit. Some parasites may still remain in our brain. To affect our behavior, well, it's still not fully understood. Some articles show the correlation that if you're positive for toxoplasma, you're more likely to be involved in car accidents, and you're more likely to exhibit aggressive and reckless behavior, and more likely... so there's also a connection between being positive for toxoplasma and development of mental illness. And some of you are probably thinking, cats, mental illness. Now it explains all the crazy cat ladies, right? No. Science still doesn't know that. It's still not fully understood. So, but even if parasites make us love cats, how can we resist? And for me, it is totally fine, but I ask you to remember one thing. Boris is mine! Thank you.